Hi there, the name's Nico, and today I'll be going over the 10 easiest characters in Eternal Return. Before you ask, yes, you can learn this game on any character, but it'll definitely be easier if you pick an easier character so you can focus on the game's mechanics such as looting. So let's get started. Now at number 10 we have Nadine. Nadine in solos generally plays the same as your typical ADC. You have high DPS just by autoing. Her character revolves around killing animals or PvE. The more animals you kill, the more damage your ultimate and Q does. Her kit is relatively simple otherwise. You even have tools to disengage from a fight. The hardest thing to note with her is farming efficiently and learning animal spawn points, but this is a skill everyone should learn. She also is a ranged character, and if you have a melee get on top of you, you generally melt, which is one of the reasons she's near the bottom of this list. Number 9 we have Lee Lin. This character revolves around managing her BOC or blood alcohol content. Her BOC is what allows her to cast spells instead of SP like the rest of the cast. If you have 0 BOC, you can cast your spells, but you're losing out on damage. How you want to play her is auto in between spells. Her main spell is her Q, which is her mobility button. She does 3 dashes and you want to auto between each dash for ultimate damage. And the last thing unique about her is that she gains attack speed if you drink alcohol-based drinks, which are items with alcohol or whiskey in them, such as flowers, liqueur, or whiskey cocktails. But really, once you know how to manage your BOC bar and make sure you have alcohol-based drinks, she's not that difficult, giving her the number 9 spot. Next up at number 8 we have Fiora. I'm mainly going to highlight two-handed sword Fiora because you play her differently than Rapier and Spear at the time of making this video. Fiora's kit was changed to make her more complex, but she still is one of the easier characters in the game in my opinion. You mainly play her as an auto attacker, using your E to chase and using her ultimate to activate Diamond Shard so you can live longer. When you're going to be hit with CC, you have your two-handed sword's weapon skill parry, which makes you immune to damage for a short period of time. Knowing the best time to parry is one of the hardest things about Fiora, as well as managing your passive. You get bonus effects on each of your spells when you have max stacks, so knowing when you reach max stacks is crucial, but there isn't much to two-handed sword Fiora otherwise. Kiara is up next at number 7. Kiara is really simple to play regardless of what version you play her as. You activate your shield, use E, use your ultimate, and then reactivate it when your opponent is low on health or your ultimate is about to end. If you play tank, don't expect to kill anyone doing this, but on crit you can small ball a game easily using this combo. And once you are fed enough, you don't even need to worry about using your E. Other than landing E, the hardest thing about Kiara is avoiding fights without her ultimate. You want to use your shield, root your opponent, and hit your Q on your opponent to build up stigma stacks to get the bonus movement speed. So it's really not that hard, but something you need to make note of when playing Kiara. Now at number 6 we have Magnus. I'm going to say Bat is easier than Hammer, mainly because Bat Magnus is auto attack focused. For Magnus, your game plan is to hit someone into a wall, auto them a few times, and before they lose the stun, use your Bat skill to re-stun them into a wall, and continue to auto them. If they run, you can use your Q, and if they are low, you use your ultimate to finish them off. Magnus is also really easy at running away from fights between landing his wall stun or E and hitting your Q to slow your opponent. And worst comes to worst, you use your ultimate and bike away. The biggest weakness of Magnus is needing a wall. Not all areas of the map work with Magnus, so you want to hang out in certain zones and wait for people to visit, such as Chapel. Number 5 we have Bernice. Bernice is another auto attack focused character. You use your Q to slow people so you can auto them more. You have bear traps in which your opponent can step on to get rooted, and your E lets you continue chasing people. Bernice is really good at chasing people and strong into melee champs, but falls short against most of the range casts and people chasing him. Bernice is a character that will never be strong for longer than a month because his playstyle is very stat check based, so it will be harder to climb with him over a long period of time, but there's not too much to him kit wise, putting him at number 5. And if you have enjoyed this video so far, please give us a like. This helps spread this video to more people. Next up at number 4 is Yuki. Yuki used to be a harder character, but they have made him a lot easier to play in the last few months. You can argue that he is tied with our number 3 character. For Yuki, you have your Q, which is a high damage basic attack spell, and a dash. His passive gives him something known as cufflinks, and this gives him bonus damage per auto or spell. His W refills his cufflinks. The reason why he's easier now is because you don't have to manage your cufflinks between combat. They will automatically refill for you. In combat though, using your W at the best time is something new players do struggle with. Yuki also plays best when you go in and out of combat. What I mean by this is you ideally want to hit your EQ auto then leave to let your Q come off of cooldown. He's generally not an all-in auto attacker. I'll say dual sword Yuki is easier than two-handed sword Yuki for the same reason as Fiora, which is that knowing when the parry properly takes time, but overall there's not too much to Yuki. Now for our top 3. At number 3 we have Hyunwoo. Both weapon types are easier to play, but you won't be as punished as much on glove compared to Tonfa. You have a slow on your Q, an unstoppable button, and a dash. For glove you really only want to auto and use your abilities on your opponents for the CC, and for Tonfa you want to use your abilities to one-shot. Tonfa is somewhat harder because if you miss your E, which is your dash, you really can't do much and it's best to run away. And using Tonfa weapon skill properly takes some time, but that's about it to Hyunwoo. At number 2, we have Jackie. Jackie has a damage spell, a movement speed, and a healing boost, and a jump. All weapon types play the same, with the easiest being dual swords in my opinion. For Jackie, if you're beside them, you can just activate your ultimate and use your W and E to chase. If you don't want to start the fight with ultimate, you want to land Q first to activate the bleed. Otherwise, it's just about autoing your opponent. And the easiest character to play is Aya, well, specifically A or Aya. For A or Aya, all you need to do is auto your opponent. If they get close to you, you press R and R quickly to reactivate to proc Diamond Shard, then press D, and you use your E to chase or dodge your opponent's abilities. Never use your Q, and you will use your W rarely to check bushes. The hardest thing would be knowing when to use your E. And that's my top 10 easiest characters to play. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. I hope to see you at the next video.